Snake fruits are rare to find, so when I found them 4 months ago, I experimented and made a garden to see if I could grow them myself. And 17 weeks later, I'm here with an update. It took me 4 years to even find this luxury fruit, so you can imagine how excited I was to bring them home and finally open them for the first time to see what they looked like inside and what they tasted like. Of all places, I spotted them in a mall in Germany, and this exotic fruit store was insane. They had crazy fruits like mangosteens, cacao pods, tiny lemons with edible peels. Fruits I never even knew existed lived there. But I put some snake fruit in my basket, some edible lemon peels, and I flew all the way home to Toronto to start my experiment. But before I left, I started to realize how long the journey was home, and I had to taste them immediately. So I found a nice quiet place in the food court, cracked open one creamy yellow fruit, and popped a piece right in my mouth. It was so unique, unlike anything I've ever tasted before. It had a sweet, acidic taste like pineapple, but it was a bit firm and crunchy, almost like a cashew or a macadamia nut. It reminded me of if a nut, a pineapple, and an apple had a fruit baby. This would be it. I also didn't believe the tiny lemons with edible peels really had edible peels, so I also tasted those because I needed to see if the peels were really edible, and they were. The lemon fruit was sour, but the peel was sweet, and I was so pleasantly confused. But after my taste test party in the food court was over, I realized that even though the seeds in snake fruits aren't edible, they sure are growable. And that's when one thing led to another, and I finally found myself at home and ready to start the snake fruit experiment. I took the snake fruits into my hands and immediately got to work. At first glance, they looked like a scaly skinned ball that kind of resembled garlic in a weird way. I slowly started to peel back the thin, shiny, dark brown skin to reveal the firm, crunchy lobe. They aren't juicy, which makes them pretty convenient to peel and eat, and of course grow. Well, I removed the Hershey Kiss shaped seeds one by one, separated the fruit, and got the seeds all on a piece of paper towel that I spritzed with water, placed in an airtight bag, and taped up on my back door to get ready to start to sprout. I like to put them up on my back door because I find the sun really helps them germinate, but a lot of people like to keep their seeds in a dark place, so it's really up to you. The paper towel needs to stay damp so that the seeds can have a moist environment to grow in, so respraying it every 3 days or so is essential. But then the waiting game begun for these things to sprout and grow. And since I only tasted one in Germany, I had all of this fruit to snack on and try for the second time. So I popped them in my mouth and I had a snake fruit party. Snake fruit is also known as salak. They're actually a species of palm trees that originate in Indonesia, but they're also grown widely in Thailand and Malaysia. Now, I knew it would take about 1 to 4 weeks for these to start sprouting, so after 10 days passed, I went to check on our seeds to see how they were doing. I opened up the paper towel to reveal the seeds started to crack open and a tiny sprout was poking out of the bum. You could see tiny roots coming out of the larger root, and I knew that it was only a matter of time before these things shot up. But I didn't know exactly what they would look like, which is why I was so shocked after another week passed and I went to check on them to see they grew so much bigger. I had never seen a pink sprout like this before, so I was pretty excited. And it was in that moment I decided to plant them in soil so they could grow even more. But I also decided to leave some in paper towel because I like being able to watch the tails grow in the towel. You never really know what they look like underneath the soil once you plant them. And of course, I thought we needed options just in case some of the seeds failed. After all, I did wait years to find this fruit, so I really wanted to save as many seeds as I could, even if I wasn't gonna grow all of them. And 7 days later, I checked on our sprouts again to see that the tails grew even more. They were long and lanky and curly, and there was a really thick part right at the bum. So in this moment, I decided to wait 1 more week. And when I went to open the paper towel, I could not believe my eyes. 4 weeks of waiting and our snake sprouts were all cracked open with sprouts popping out of the Hershey Kiss shaped seeds, and not just any sprouts, but really thick, pointy, pinky red, unique sprouts unlike anything I've ever seen before in my life. It was the coolest thing ever to open the paper towel and reveal these alien-like seeds. And now I was excited because by the end of the summer, I knew we would finally have our own semi-big snake plant. So I took these alien seeds, And after admiring them for a while, I finally placed the remaining 4 seeds in their new home, a bigger pot this time, separate from before, and 1 week later, the seeds continued to sprout and they looked like this. They looked like little tree branches that were kind of dead. But of course, we all knew what was really about to happen, because 1 more week passed and the leaves finally started to shoot up. But they were unlike any leaves I've ever seen before. Just like the sprouts, this plant had crazy leaves too. They had really unique stripes and they felt really durable. It made me wonder what you can do with snake plant leaves. But the weeks just kept passing until the plant looked a little something like this. And today, this is what our snake plant looks like. Absolutely insane. So, the moral of the story here is that since snake fruits take a while to harvest, you might just be stuck with me until 2028.